For Bhagavad-gītā class. This verse we are discussing second chapter, 7th verse and 8th verse. They are, the most important verses in one spiritual life altogether. This is the ultimate reality, because this is the holding the key between ignorance and knowledge, darkness and light. And if we do not get this correct, then whatever we try, we will not be able to get that success. So that is the most important thing. So let's try to understand a little bit whatever we can. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhavaha prajvamitvam dharma sammuda chetaha yashreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Now, I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now, I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Then 8th verse, I will read the translation. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So, Prabhu, how much time I have?
Around 15 minutes now.
Okay. So let's discuss these two verses and see what we can make out of it. So we know the background. Arjuna was currently at this spot in the battlefield where he is faced with the big task of fighting with his kin and kith. That means his brothers, his maternal uncles, his teacher, many of his relatives, very, very dear relatives. And it's not like simply fighting means, calling some names and things like that. It means one has to even kill them if that is required, or rather that is required at this stage. They have come to this battlefield to decide once and for all what is the way forward. So in this condition, he is, and it's not like one or two people, it is like thousands and thousands of people there. And it's not an ordinary situation. All of us have to take some decisions at some point in time in our lives. And we consider them each one to be very big. But these kind of decisions, rare. I don't know if anyone would have to take, like fighting to kill one's own kin and kith. So this is the kind of grave situation. Today we talk of many economic decisions we take in our life, or career decisions, so many things. But this kind of a decision is not something which is common or which is not faced there. But of course, in Kali Yuga, there are so many battles going on. Every corner of the world, there is fight. But again, there is no kind of logical thinking. But here, these are very evolved personalities, and then it's very difficult to take such decisions. So Arjuna at this point in time is actually making his mind known to Krishna. And he's doing it the most perfect way one needs to do. So he's saying, I'm confused about my duty. What should I do? Should I fight? Should I not fight? Should I just give up my duty? What should I do? I don't know. He's saying, then in this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. So when we are in a kind of a perplexed situation, our mind in a way does not work properly. That's why the idea is to approach someone who is not in that situation, who's above that, like who is liberated himself. That means who is not in that problem. Liberated means it could be in a very narrow sense that when I want to take a decision whether I should buy this car or that car, it comes that because I am the interested person, I just keep thinking in a very narrow sense. But someone who's not actually the person who's going to drive that car, if you ask him, he will be able to analyze it in a subjective manner, analyze it in an objective manner, not in a subjective manner. So that is so even for a material thing. And how about a spiritual perspective? That is important. And in a spiritual perspective, that is clear that I am, here it is mentioning like I am confused, I do not know what to do. These are all conditions in a material world where if you need to find a solution, you need to find a solution with the help of one who's actually won over the three modes of material nature. Because I am perplexed, because I am thinking I am body and this is the other body is my relative. And this is not something which is can be solved with the help of another person who is also having the same concept, right? That means everybody in this material world are traveling in the same boat. So you cannot really find a solution from the other. And if you want to find out a solution, then you should look at someone who's actually surpassed that stage. I mean, it's very common sense, right? Even if you want to learn something, you need to learn from someone who has actually achieved that level of knowledge in that field that you can go and learn from him. Otherwise, we are learning from another person whose opinion is subject to deliberation, like how we many a times Google, we see, but we don't know. We don't take a complete decision based on it. Then we look at another article. We look at another article. Then you can go on searching like this all your life, and then make a jugalbandi of all of these things, and then come up with some decision which may not be appropriate in the right sense. Many a times these things happen. Once one of my relative had some little health issue. Then that person actually went searching in Google what is what. Then one is it would be a simple headache or something. And then if you have a headache, you could have cancer kind of a thing. So many things came up and I was so perplexed. Then I went to the doctor and said, this is there. Then he said something. Then, no, I heard like this, I heard like this. He said, where did you hear all this? I was searching Google. Then he said, I am doctor or your doctor? Why are you confusing yourself with so many things which is unwanted for you? Why don't you simply listen to what I'm saying? Just next time onwards, don't Google for any health-related issues. He told that person. And, after taking this medicine in 1 or 2 days, you are out of the problem completely. So like this, when we are taking instructions from people who are also similar to us, then there is no way that we can solve the problem. So in the context of a spiritual life, the issue is that person who's instructing us should be not in that bodily concept of life. And Krishna is the perfect instructor in that sense. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. So Arjuna here is saying, no more friendly talks. That means if you're having a friendly discussion, what you could do is, okay, I see. Oh, is that what you are thinking? Oh, nice. Thank you. And then we do not take it seriously and follow that instruction with heart and soul. That is the problem when we take instructions from people whom we consider as equal. So many a times when devotees want to preach, I tell them, do not go and instruct people on the corridor, right? Talk to them on a corridor, because that's more of you go and say some discussion and then he puts a counter to it, and then you put another point to that, then he puts a counter. There's no end to this speculative discussions. So unless someone comes seriously thinking that, this person knows something and I want to learn from him, there is no way we can succeed in our endeavor. Therefore, there has to be that proper relationship between the person who's giving the message and the person who's receiving the message. And Arjuna very clearly knows this. If I think of Krishna as just my friend, I could take it as his opinion and I may not act on it. And therefore he says, I am now no more these friendly talks. I am surrendering to you as a disciple. Disciple means simply follow. That's all. Of course, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena seveya. That is there. You need to inquire submissively. But that doesn't mean you simply, when you say you simply follow the instruction of the spiritual master, not like a blind man. You need to inquire, but in the mood of submission, mood that, yes, he is master and I am student. That mood is there. But at the end of the day, we need to surrender to his instructions if we need to get rid of our disease. So this is the conclusion which Arjuna is coming to. And in a spiritual life, right? If you see, we are all going around trying to find a solution to our problem of material existence. And it is not that this is the first time that we are trying in this life, right? Or it's not like only in this life we are trying to address this issue. We have been here from time immemorial, and naturally, whenever we have had a human form, we have had this question in our mind that, what is happening? Why am I here? What is the purpose? Why are things different for me? Why are things different for the other person? What are the challenges? Why is it that I am very happy, or why is it that I'm sad? These things come to everyone's mind. Be an atheist, be a very renounced person, be a realized person, whatever it is, they have these challenges. So, and therefore we would have been having this in our mind, and we have been trying to solve it for time immemorial period of time. In this situation, why we have not been able to solve it? Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan. So that means to get to that knowledge, it takes many, many birth and death. Now, then where is the key? So it's like, we keep on going around in circles. We may go to different places. But if you do not know where that door is, how will you get out? So that is the most important thing. So to get out of that door, we need that specific key. And that key is given by that person who is actually liberated. I'm talking about going around in the material world. And material world is so huge. You can go to so many billions of planets, and therefore there is no end to our material existence or suffering. Therefore, that person who has the key, he can easily, in a second, he can make us come to the other side of it. Then everything suddenly changes on the other side. So this is the most important aspect. And here is that person who can give that key. And in the next verse, Prabhupada is actually discussing about, how can that key be delivered to the person. He says, I can find no means to drive away the grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So this talks about how difficult it is to get the key. Right here, the person speaking is Arjuna. Arjuna is a person who is capable of winning the entire earth. Or why entire earth? He can even win the higher planetary system because of his prowess. That is already proven. So given this situation, it is not any difficult for him to get what he wants. Then why all this confusion? Just get it here. Find your way and get out of this mess. But why he is not able to do it? So that is what Prabhupada is trying to highlight. Many people say, right, with money we can buy so many things. And then there are many philosophical discussions. No, with money you can't buy love, you can't buy friends, you can't buy this, that. People say all of these things. If it is that difficult, even for simple thing as a friends or love, what to talk about getting rid of this entire cycle of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease? So that is the bigger question one needs to ask. And to get that key is not very ordinary. So then how do we get that key? That key is, in this situation, Arjuna has figured it out. He is saying, Krishna, only you can give this to me. Nobody else can give this to me. Therefore, if you want to find it, you can get it only from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, will Krishna come and instruct every one of us, you and me and everyone in the street? Yes, he will instruct, he is instructing, but are we in a position to understand it? Are we in a position to take it? Because this Bhagavad-gītā is there everywhere, right? After Prabhupada came, it is all over the world in all different languages. But how is it that are everyone able to take it and understand it? Because there are 1,000 different ways of commentaries people have speculated. So how can anyone understand it like that? Therefore, you need to have that understanding from Krishna, meaning from Krishna's direct representatives. So that is the biggest important aspect. So with Krishna's representatives, we can achieve that, that we can get that key. And that person is the qualification that he is actually Krishnaized. That means he's completely spiritualized. He is completely in Krishna consciousness. Then it doesn't matter what is his background, whether he is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, that doesn't matter. The qualification is that he is a Vaishnava of the highest order. Then he is a liberated person. This is the qualification, and he is coming in the proper parampara system. That means from Krishna, the next disciple, next disciple, next disciple, and finally it should lead to on the top level, it should go to Krishna, and then it should be coming without any cut in the disciplic succession. And that person is of good standing. That means he's basically a liberated person. Then we are actually able to get the same key which is handed over hand to hand from the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. So that is being discussed in this chapter. And the difficulty, or rather the importance of this particular matter, that means solving the challenge of repeated birth and death, how important it is also been described here. So I think it's very important we memorize this sloka, at least the 8th one, 7th one, Karpanya Dosho, and make it our sutra for life. Then we are out of this mess in this one particular life, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that, Bahunam Janmanam is not required. That is the difference between Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I will do it now, but simply follow these processes of chanting 16 rounds, accepting a spiritual master, following 4 regulative principles. In this very life, we can go. And that is the biggest benedictions that we have got. And if we are simply able to accept that, then we are back home, back to Godhead. I end here. Hare Krishna.